Hello, Internet! It is I, Sneaky Devil, and this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9001. Now, Max and Atin won't be joining us tonight because they're a bunch of pussy bitches, but we have nose hair.
Hello.
So that's like...
It's something.
So yeah, it's something, yeah. It's better than just me, I guess you could say. Now, I know what you're thinking. Actually, I don't know what you're thinking. So let's just get right on into this. Now, as always, I am required to remind everyone not to contact the people we feature here in this here podcast because that would be mean and harassment and against the terms of service.
Which terms aren't cool, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
mean, they sort of are when you're not being the one hunted. But I mean, you're not allowed to harass people by the terms of service, and
You're
we
not
can't
supposed to say that on stream.
As long as no one's being burned at the stake, it's fine.
Do you mean that literally or figuratively?
I mean, you could really go either way with that one.
You know what? I'm not gonna touch this anymore. You're on your own on that.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, so, this is gonna be a Harry Potter Ruby Cross. Yeah. I'm gonna regret this one. But, let's get on with it. Harriet Potter. Yeah, because Harry is a girl. Disappeared after that fateful Halloween night that Voldemort attacked Godric's Hollow. But 13 years later, the Goblet of Fire summons a woman, fully grown, in her place. That woman's name is Summer Rose. And all she wants to do is return home to her daughters. Female Harry is Summer Rose.
Hold on. Back up.
I'm dying.
So, Harry Potter went missing after Voldemort disappeared.
Right, back
Why
in,
does everyone care about a baby?
No one does?
Okay then, explain this in detail what just happened.
Okay, so from what I'm getting from this is the author really doesn't know what to do. But from the author's perspective, I'm assuming what their thought process is that Voldemort knows he didn't kill Harry Potter on that night. So Voldemort's like, well, Harry Potter's out there somewhere. So
I mean,
summon
I guess
him.
if he did do the Horcrux thing, I guess that works. But
you gotta remember that Voldemort also is operating under the assumption that Harry Potter's going to be able to kill him. So ergo, he knows he didn't kill Harry Potter. There's no reports of Harry Potter's death, just disappearance.
it's because he's a baby, you colossal idiot.
No, I know that. I'm saying this is from the author's perspective. I'm assuming as to why this had to happen.
I'm calling the author a colossal idiot, not
Yes.
you.
And so, Voldemort's
Yeah.
like, I should summon Harry Potter because he's hiding. So if I kill him now, he can't kill me. Or something like that, I guess.
No.
Nah,
That's not how that works.
I know. God damn it. Fucking...
Also, yes, Kilm, Voldemort already knew that Harry was going to kill him because of that stupid prophecy bullshit, which was vague in the books, and then everyone's in the movies just like, yeah, no, it's totally true. The prophecy's totally about you. It's not about Neville or anyone else. Because the movie writers had no sense of, like, world building. Granted, neither did J.K. Rowling, but we tend to ignore that.
We tend to ignore that because she's a multi-million-dollar author.
I mean, the world building was good in the first couple books, but then it was just like, nah.
World building. There wasn't really any world building.
There was a little bit.
Not really. It was like, hey, here's this alleyway that apparently houses the entire Wizard Nation. Somehow.
It just houses a street.
Yeah, but but according to J.K. Rowling, Diagon Alley and the Hogsmeade. Hogsmeade is the only other wizarding city in Britain, all of United Kingdom. Diagon Alley is the only and main and everything.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't live in Diagon Alley.
Okay, yes, maybe they don't live there, but it's like everything, you know? Anyway. J.K. Rowling sucks at building. We all know this. Now, this is an author's note of pretentiousness, I suppose. Now, there will be no doubt people out there upset with me as I am posting yet another new story. I say that my muse is a fickle mistress. I actually, however, had this idea in my head for months, about the same time I came up with For Death's Amusement. However, I like For Death's Amusement better. And I still love For Death's Amusement, but the sheer amount of flames I got for how I portrayed Harry in that story killed my motivation for it. Oh, maybe then you should write Harry Potter better.
Maybe you should also kill your motivation to continue the story, please.
No, just a suggestion. If you have a large amount of people saying you are portraying Harry Potter wrong and then giving actual valid reasons, maybe they're right. Just throwing it out there. But, you know, don't listen to me. I only have 0 experience in terms of ultimately successful stories. So, what do I know? Let's see where I still intend to write. Wait. And sat down to write a new chapter when I got another extremely detailed review telling me why I was an idiot for making Harry so weak. Okay, well, if it was extremely detailed, that means it probably had actually valid reasons, and went into those valid reasons as to why you're dumb and you set up the story poorly. So typically that is an encouragement to not ignore that review and maybe stop the story, to be fair, but maybe consider why that person was commenting on your story like that.
I was gonna say, like, if people are, like, okay, if, like, one person's calling your story shit, that's just a troll or something, whatever. But if it's, like, multiple people telling you your story shit, maybe...
With, like, multi-paragraph explanations, too, it's like, okay, maybe they're onto something, and you should, like, learn from it?
Totally just... Maybe you should just deflect all criticism and just call it haters.
No, it's not only that. It's I gotta deflect the criticism and start a new story without learning anything from the previous one, I guess. Now, I still intend to write FDA, but my mind drifted, for lack of a better term, after I got that review, and I actually began to write this idea down. As I wrote, I fell in love with it even more. The plus side of this story is that I have the Harry Potter arc fully planned out before I get back to Ruby. Whereas with FDA, Volume 5 altered my plans for it. Not a lot, but enough to throw off my plans. Hopefully, by having the Harry Potter arc planned, I can get the chapters out faster. Lastly, I don't mind constructive criticism, but if you're gonna leave a review, just tell me I'm dumb and should die for some reason because of a part of story you don't like. Yes, I did get reviews like that, then don't. I mean, to be fair, don't tell the author to kill themselves, usually. That's only when they basically butcher the English language. But
I mean, you really shouldn't tell people to do that. That's
I mean,
not...
yeah, I suppose.
We here at Fanfiction Theater do not condone that behavior officially.
Even
Now,
though
unofficially, if you're playing Dota, then yes,
Fuck you!
hello there. Well, everyone, welcome Atin to the show. Let's get
hey,
some
it's
hand
Max.
clapping up in here.
You shut the fuck up. Don't you confuse Isley anymore. That poor girl has enough problems without you actively gaslighting her.
Oh, too bad Isley isn't here. I hope something didn't happen to her.
Well, to be fair, or him, we're still not sure.
I mean,
Isley says she's
There are
a
no
she,
girls.
but
Isley
I mean,
says she's a she, and I'm gonna roll with it.
There are no
girls.
girls.
all right, hold on a minute, Sneaky. You should know better than anyone.
Look, we're not talking about that.
Did Sneaky get catfished?
Oh, you mean both times?
Yes.
Did
Both
Sneaky
times.
Okay.
get catfished?
We'll leave.
Yes, that story is behind the $5,000 paywall.
And remember, it's only another 5 to see us in a maid outfit. Bear in
Indeed.
mind that's 10 per person. We can be bought, but we cannot be bought cheaply.
I mean, $10,000.
Anyway, so you
Look, I'm
you've
just
entered-
saying my dignity's worth $10,000. That's all.
That's fair. Now, you've entered into a Harry Potter Ruby story in which the author has taken several paragraphs to not only justify why they are writing this, but also say that they stopped writing their previous story because of a bunch of legitimate criticism. And then proceeded to blame all the people who were criticizing them.
Ah, one of those people.
So, now this story is a female Harry Potter gets
Hold on.
magically
I'm just going to
transported-
read what I can see on the screen. If you're going to leave a review, just tell me I'm an idiot who should die because for some reason you don't like a part of this story. Don't. In fact, if you'll need to
For
stop
some
the video,
reason, implying it's not valid.
I mean, here's the thing. Reviews that purely say things like your story's dumb and you should die, those are actually invalid because there's no criticism there. If it was, here's all the reasons you're dumb for doing this.
Yeah,
and
but I mean,
because you're
I've
dumb, you should
left
die in a hole.
reviews like that
At
before.
least that has an element of constructive criticism.
Okay,
to
yeah,
it.
constructive
Just telling
criticism,
someone,
look.
look, Sneaky, I think Ajit Pai should die in a hole, but I have valid reasons for that.
Yes, that is true. But you're typically not going to explain all those reasons to the layman. You're just going to be like, I hate Ajit Pai and I think he should die in a hole. Now, if this person goes, now why exactly is that? You could then explain to them. But if you're like, I hate this person and they should die in a hole, and the other guy's like, okay. You don't need...
Ajit Pai needs to die because the Emperor demands it.
Indeed. But
Because he is not an ordained tech priest.
But it's just like, you know, it's... I've left reviews like that on stories before where I just have to sit there and be like, I'm not going to
Sneaky.
waste my time.
I'm aware.
Like, I'm not going to waste my time, for free, I might add, to leave a review on this person's story because they are just doing so much wrong, it's not worth it correcting them. For me, personally, at that period in time. Now, granted, I have left actual lengthy max character reviews before on stories attempting to help the authors. And they've accepted that help.
Those were ignored.
No, they were accepted. Typically because I judge the author before I write the review, and if I put that much effort in, usually it's because I believe the author might listen to it. It's all
Gotcha.
about usage.
You're a preemptive asshole.
Yes, exactly. I use my psychognitive powers. I just mashed that word together.
I was gonna say he's an unregistered psychic. Get him.
No, I'm not a psyker. I'm a psychognitive.
The black ship does not discriminate against lesser beings.
All shall be fed to the Emperor of Mankind.
I and the other authors on this site, hey, fuck you, don't speak for me, you motherfucker,
Hey, don't even
writing.
speak for me, fucker.
are writing these stories for fun. I'm actually writing it to piss people off, but I guess
I
that's
was gonna say, you cannot. That is a bold claim to think you can speak for every person on a website.
we are
In fact,
paid.
it's a dangerous
mostly,
claim.
And those negative reviews can and will kill any motivation to continue a story. Good. Even
Wrong.
if others
No,
like
no,
it.
no, 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 no. You're wrong, stupid. I would love it if people would flame me, because
Dude,
at least that means someone read it.
more negative reviews. Like, holy shit, I am so tired of positive reviews on my story.
In fact, negative reviews are better, because at least if someone's taking the time to tell me to burn in a hole and die, they're generally going to try to break down my story piece by piece.
Oh, hey, Despacito 4 is coming out in 2019. Apparently, NASA confirmed it.
I'm sorry, what?
Hello?
I have so many questions.
So, I think I can speak for everyone here when I say we can already start off this story with a sin count of 125.
Honestly, I say rack it up to 1,000 for the sin of daring to speak for a website.
That's fair.
Like, there's some bold claims,
Also,
Eli.
I do have to say that if your motivation is killed by people not liking something you're doing, that's pretty weak motivation.
I was gonna say, listen, if things like that had to turn Elon Musk, we wouldn't have PayPal.
Like, are you saying you just, like, stopped doing something because 20 people came up to you and said, hey, I don't like that? Like, that's fucking weak-willed shit, man.
I mean, yeah, just like, look, if you're just gonna say,
Now,
oh, I don't want to do this because I feel like I'm not doing enough, it's just like, just keep doing it.
Now,
Eventually,
to be fair,
something's gonna stick.
I was gonna say, listen here.
if 20
We
people
wouldn't
come
have
to
this
you,
podcast if we listened to people who didn't like us.
fair enough. But, no, like, if 20 people come to you
Although,
and
to be fair, they may have been correct about that.
that is true. If 20 people come to you and say, hey, I don't like you, you should stop what you're doing, and you go, no, fuck you. Good on you. And if you stop, well, you're a weak-willed little biatch.
Like,
But
here's the thing,
now,
right?
flip side,
Look,
flip side.
I may despise Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer,
Yes.
but I will give him this. He does not give a shit.
He does not.
He will continue shitposting loudly until the end of all days.
Flip side,
And God bless that Australian cunt.
if 20 people come up to you and give you well-reasoned arguments about why what you're doing is bad and wrong, and you go, oh, you're right, I guess, and you do stop, that's fair enough. You can't blame anyone for that. Like, if people come to you with well-reasoned arguments and that makes you go, well, yes, I should stop, that's completely different than 20 people coming up to you and going, go die, and you going, I should stop this so people stop telling me to die. Like, that's that's really different, author. When all your reviews do is say how stupid an author is or how they need to die, it does nothing but frustrate the author. And considering how many people enjoy reading fanfiction for fun, everyone loses when a story dies, when author stops writing
that's not true in the
because of it.
slightest. If Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer stopped writing fanfiction, humanity would be, at minimum, no worse off.
Actually, we'd probably be better off, but yeah.
I said at minimum. Here's the thing, right? Because I can't claim to judge the impact fully, but I can tell you that one less Fuda Blake story will not harm the world.
Yes, you are not wrong about that at all. In the slightest. The world needs less of that. Anyway. So, continuing forward, let us actually get into this crazy, stupid, dumb story. Magic is a funny thing. It can be harnessed and controlled, but at its core, magic is wild and unpredictable. With magic, the impossible becomes possible, and the unachievable achievable.
Hey, quit fucking stealing communist quotes, but shittily.
But for all its power, even to those most knowledgeable in its use, magic will remain a mystery. A lot of contradictions. And even they can encounter phenomenon they cannot explain. Such was the case of young Harriet Potter. Shortly after the murder of her parents, Harriet was left at the door of her mother's sister, but shortly after being left alone on the doorstep, for no explainable reason, magic whisked her away to a new world. Okay. Okay, so I know we haven't in a very long time actually given constructive criticism here, but this is actually a really easy one to give constructive criticism for right here.
Okay, no. So let's start with the first point. First of all, so the author here is using an author hand wave. Now, hand waves are problematic because they are generally used by authors that don't have a better idea of what they're doing. However,
no.
That's not to say they're always bad.
No. Here. In this case, I would buy it. Except in this scenario instead. Tell me if this sounds better. Voldemort comes in. They have the whole scene. Voldemort's like abracadabra, right? And Harry goes poof there. And the author's like, oh, it's the interaction between Lily's sacrifice magic and Voldemort's will to kill or some shit, right? And that's what makes Harry poof. Versus this scenario of everything happens in canon, but for some reason Harry's a girl, and he's put on the doorstep, and then he goes poof. Which one would you be like, okay, I'll buy that?
I was going to say, because, and here's the thing, right? The amount of hand waving you can get away with is much, much greater in the other situation, because guess what? The whole someone living through Avada Kedavra literally had never happened before. It was the murder curse for a reason.
Yes. It's just like, if you contrive a scenario, it gets contrived. Shocker. If you go,
now,
okay.
And here's the thing. Those situations are more or less based on what the author's already done and how much hand waving you're doing. It also depends on how serious you're trying to take your story. This author is presumably trying to take their story relatively seriously.
I am assuming so, yes.
And here's the problem with that. You have just an enormous hand wave where you say, shut up and listen to me in your opening paragraph. So before I've even started your story, I'm already like, I don't believe you.
Also,
whereas if you look at a story
Harriet
that's,
Potter,
say, humor-based, like mine and Max's shitpost, where we do more or less the exact same thing in terms of, fuck you, here's what's happening, ours is a humor story.
Crack and, yeah, exactly.
It's a humor and crack story.
Actually, hear me out here. So even better to explain why Harry is suddenly Grill, right? Why not be like, oh, it's the remnant of Lily's magic and Harry's guy half was killed or some shit. Honestly, you could just pull shit out of your
there's
ass.
so much bullshit you could come up with there.
But it's like, nah, Harriet is a girl, Jedi hand wave. Harriet
here's the thing, right?
Into Ruby, Jedi hand wave.
Are they saying that Harry is just going to be female in this case?
Yes.
Okay, see, that's not so bad. I really don't have a problem with that.
I know.
Gender bends happen all the time, and if you just start the story saying, okay, everything's going to roll out like normal, but Harry's a dude, or Harry's a chick. The end. Okay, fine. I can roll with that. This is Naruto, but Naruto is not a man.
I mean, hell,
okay,
if you wanted to go
fine.
full fan fiction,
I can roll with that.
edgelord shit, you could probably just say, oh, there was also somehow a nobody of Harriet's or whatever.
Fucking
full
no,
autism.
you shut the fuck up.
Get your Kingdom Hearts shit out of here.
Take
it out back.
Take it
out back. Take it out back and shoot it.
He's forfeited his talking privileges.
Wow, okay. I was only just mentioning something that's on fanfiction.net a lot. Jesus.
Yes.
And for that,
you're
muted. I'm kidding.
Either Harry wasn't the only one.
Am I incorrect?
You are correct. But just for that, I'm gonna tell you.
That's
hey,
a good
did
one,
you
Arm.
test your 360?
No, I can't yet.
What?
Fucking, I'm muting that for Nosehair's sake. That's muted right now for Nosehair's sake. No one can hear either of you right now because I'm protecting Nosehair and his idiocy.
Just because no one can hear, guess what I'm bringing to your house?
What the fuck are you bringing?
I'm bringing a great evil in. Evil comes in threes.
They heard that one, by the way.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway, Harry Potter gets poofed into Remnant. And now I'm going to describe Remnant for y'all. And blah, 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 Remnant stuff. Blah, 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 aura. Blah, 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 blah.
I have
blah,
no idea
blah,
what that
Remnant.
is, by the way.
You don't know Ruby at all?
No, not you, Zach.
Oh.
Well, it's not my fault he can't figure out the riddle, folks.
And blah, 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 blah. He's bringing you condoms so you guys have all the gay sex.
Oh, God, no!
Listen here, you.
No. Just... look, I have standards, and Nosehair does not meet those.
Wow.
Oof. Are those standards require certain genitalia?
That
I
is a
would
key
assume.
part of it. That's a very key part of it.
Let's move on, shall we?
They were still human, and humans were fallible mortal beings. It was in this world Harriet was transported, specifically in a region controlled by the Kingdom of Atlas.
Okay, so here's my question. You're just taking
Mantle,
Harry Potter and...
Excuse me? Mantle? I mean, depending on actually how long it's been. But
here's my problem, right? They're just taking Harriet Potter and slapping her in the Remnant verse.
Yep.
What's the fucking point of that?
Yeah.
Nothing. This is in no way going to be the Harry Potter anyone knows anything about, because A, it's a chick, so that changes a bunch of stuff right off the bat.
Right.
But B, you're sending him there as a child. They aren't gonna know they're from Earth. They aren't gonna know anything about Voldemort or magic.
That's actually
they're just
the
gonna
key thing there.
grow up in Remnant.
That's actually the key thing there is with the... Because I can actually speak on this because I am doing a Naruto Ruby Cross in which Naruto as a child ends up in Remnant. Specifically because Remnant would change how Naruto develops. And while we didn't spend too much time on that, which is a critical weakness of mine, but also at the same time it would just end up with the story being massively longer than I want it to be, and probably never get finished. Over the probably won't get finished as it is right now. The difference here is that the author's like, I want Harriet to become Summer Rose so she can be summoned back into Harry Potter's verse so that she can then beat up Harry Potter's verse and then get summoned back into Remnant with full ability to use magic. Is what I'm assuming the author's going to try and do. Well, my objective was A, make fun of as many Naruto Ruby tropes as possible, and B, actually, like, write out what would happen if a Naruto that grew up in Remnant was Naruto in Remnant. You got what I mean here?
Yeah, well, no, but again, here's the thing. At what age did you send Naruto to Remnant?
Around 6-ish.
Okay, here's the thing. That's actually a perfectly fine time to do it, because he's at least had some development. He'll have cognizant memories of Konoha and of the ninja arts. He may not necessarily be able to do anything, but he will have memories of
that. That was a
and
key
of course,
part of it.
he will also have the memories of being literally alone for
that was also a key part of it. Yeah.
But see, again, that's not what's happening here. This is 0-year-old Harry Potter. I'm sorry, like 1-year-old Harry Potter with no memories is going into Remnant. Harry will have no reason to suspect that Harry is anything but a normal person in Remnant.
Right.
And, like, aura and stuff won't even come up until Harry tries to become a hunter. If Harry even tries to become a hunter.
Anyway. So, Harriet
So
was given a name.
that's point number one why you're dumb, author.
Harriet was given a new name by the orphanage that found her out in the wild, and
nobody asked any questions about the baby in the middle of the woods.
Nope. Summer?
In Remnant.
Nope.
In Remnant, where Grimm can often take the appearance of children. Okay.
What? What?
Boy,
Yeah,
what
I'm
are you
thinking-
smoking?
What fucking Ruby shit did you read?
I was probably thinking of something else.
No, please inform us about your strange
No, he's
child
thinking
Yang
of Witcher.
fetish.
He's thinking of Witcher's 3's monsters.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
My bad.
You know, the infinitely superior world that Witcher 3 is.
I'm sorry. I'm just keep thinking of that. I keep thinking of that every single time I read or watch anything Ruby, because I'm just like, man,
Well, because it's
I
just,
really wish
hey,
Witcher was
here's,
this.
yeah. You do know that a Witcher Netflix show is happening, right?
It's gonna be either really good or suck massive.
Okay, so I'll
dick.
say this right off the bat.
Yes.
So the audition scripts have leaked. Don't pay them any mind. The author literally came out and wrote, it said, listen, I made these scripts as boring and generic as I possibly could because I knew they were going to leak and I'm not giving anything away.
Nice. Well done.
So
Poland.
it's literally just, there's one scene that's a back and forth between Yen, and then there's just a scene that's Yen monologuing to herself.
I mean, that's good for auditions, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just there to see if they can do the characters. Also, we are slightly lucky in that the author is not being super hard on being faithful to the books because we aren't getting ugly Geralt.
Excellent.
Yes.
Good.
And we are also way off track.
Yeah,
anyway.
but it's better than this.
So,
This is also true.
years later, when she unlocked her aura, because, you know, that's another thing I always had problems with is, people showing up in the Rubyverse, and then it's like, oh, even though you guys have magic and or science for, you know, insert, period of time here, you also have this previously never before discovered aura soul.
And here's the thing, right? There are certain times when there are certain ways you could argue that magic and aura are the same thing. Like, here's the thing, right?
That's the thing, though. Is
Aura is soul energy. There's a relatively simple argument for aura, the force.
I mean, that's actually the argument I made in the Naruto Ruby Cross, in that Tai described Naruto's quote-unquote aura as a very heavy and stickier form of aura. And it's like, that's because aura is basically soul, while chakra is soul and body.
I was gonna say, so Naruto's using the dregs of his soul. Got it.
Yes. Anyway, no one put hand over their head and went whoosh. You have a flickering wiener? Alright, so Arn, I want to hear your idea about how you could possibly have magic equal aura. Besides, through sheer willpower and believing that's how their magic worked, it worked like aura.
I mean, if his aura is the magic from whatever, then I guess it counts.
This is Harry Potter, so, no force shields. Oh.
I mean, he's also the chosen one, so I don't know. Maybe he just has powers in every universe.
Skedaddle,
No!
skedoodle!
Fuck
Your
you.
aura's now a noodle!
I never said that was true. I'm just fucking speculating, dude.
Yeah, well, stop speculating. This ain't the stock market.
We live in a society.
Gamers rise up.
Summer Rose smiled as she received the notification on her scroll, accepting her into Beacon Academy. The young woman wanted to be a huntress more than anything, but she disliked the militaristic approach Atlas took. She believed that huntsmen and huntresses shouldn't be military personnel. Yes, these people with basically superpowers should not have direct supervision to ensure they do not, say, turn criminal and begin robbing the city of vital resources.
Nah, that there's them crazy liberal talk, boy.
Gangweed, rise up. And that allegiance should be to humanity as a whole, rather than one specific kingdom. It was why she applied to Beacon in Vale instead of Atlas, as Atlas Academy had a tendency to push its students towards the Atlesian military.
Well, I mean, look, if all I'm gonna say is, if you're getting your funding from the military, it's gonna happen.
I'm just saying, if it's just a push and not mandatory, I really don't understand why you would leave Atlas. But if it's mandatory, I can understand why you would leave and not choose to go to the Atlas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it was and here's the thing, you could solve the entire thing by saying anyone who went to Atlas had to serve blank years in the military to pay for their education.
Yeah, honestly, easiest cop out ever, because it's a real one.
I was gonna say, the ROTC exists.
This probably shits all over established Ruby canon, but basically my idea is that by spending time in Remnant, the aura synthesizes into your soul or some shit because of the difference in atmosphere content / environmental factors.
Honestly, no, it's not as half-assed as you think, given that we know literally nothing about aura.
Yeah,
other than its soul magic.
Yeah, honestly, you could honestly say, when it comes to at least aura, that over time maybe they get it. Yeah, like say it's like some sort of fucking radiation shit or something. Because I mean, again, pre-Grim humanity on Remnant didn't have aura. And then the Grim showed up and people had aura and then dust appeared and it was sort of like a surprise.
Sneaky. Here's the thing. We don't know for sure they didn't have aura.
That's
we do know they didn't have dust. We do know that they only found dust at the same time they found the Grim, but we don't know if they didn't have aura before. But, if you're just normal people living in a look, the average U.S. citizen doesn't need an aura. Now, look, if it's going to be discovered anywhere spontaneously, it'll be like Chicago or Jersey.
Wouldn't auras actually just be quirks from My Hero Academia without the dust?
No. No, you're thinking of semblances.
Remnant! Wonder of the world! Too deep we delve there, and woke up a nameless fear.
What is this, Dark
Dungeon? Listen here. If the Balrog is what's sleeping under the castle, I'm cool with that. Cinder goes down there. We have dug too greedily and too deeply.
No, I'm just saying.
I was thinking Darkest Dungeon. Honestly, not Balrog.
That was literally I just modified a Lord of the Rings quote. But
he did. Also, now, hey Ricky, here's the fanfiction for you to write: the Ruby Crew, but in Darkest Dungeon.
Now that would be something I would like to see.
You know what? I want to see Ruby's reaction to the Incohotate flesh.
Yes, indeed.
Incohotate? Incohitate? However you pronounce that damn word.
But as I was saying, no, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of bullshit later on of like, humanity found dust, but in doing so, they also unleashed Salem. Or some shit like
it would be dumb, but yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I can see them doing that. Anyway, so back to this dumb story, as I'm just gonna keep giving it some more sins because it just keeps sinning. It's like making such blatant plot holes it hurts. Because it's like,
yes,
you could avoid this by just saying something else that's perfectly believable. but you didn't. So it's odd. You know?
Yes.
She hadn't expected to be named team leader. In fact, Summer was wondering if perhaps Professor Ozpin had made a mistake. The rest of the
Here we go. Fuck off.
The rest of the students that made up the
Unoriginal
newly formed Team Strong seemed much better to be a leader than her. Blah blah blah, introducing Summer's team, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Oh wow! Literally the exact fucking conversation Ozpin had with Ruby. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Literally ripping straight from canon.
Isn't that just like, you know, like why? Why not just like write something yourself?
Because that would take effort, and this author clearly has none to give.
Yes, clearly.
I'm just gonna keep giving it sins for just the sheer audacity of ripping a conversation straight out of canon.
I feel like the sin meter is just a non-factor.
So it's like cinema sins.
Hey!
Eat shit, cinema sins.
Seriously, don't go picking fights with bigger channels, Sneaky.
No, honestly, they've already made a statement that they don't care about anything negative that's said about them.
Oh.
Not because it's a good thing, but because they don't think they're doing anything wrong, so everyone that says negative things about them are wrong. Was Ozpin even headmaster back when Strong was teens? Yes, they were. Yes, he was.
As far as we know.
Ozpin was headmaster since forever, because he set up the hunter schools.
For he is Ozpin the Undying.
No, like, as Ozpin, he set up the hunter schools.
Yeah, I know.
He's like 150 for some fuck all reason.
Now, the question is, when he demi-liches himself into a new body, does he start altering the DNA to make them look like him?
That's a good question. I would assume no, and it's not really demi-liching, it's like monking. Because they straight up just ripped off what monks do in 3.5 and 5e with the whole, with enough meditation and practice and control of their ki, they can live for an extended long-ass periods of time and do crazy things with their souls.
Oh no, I was talking about him dying and then just taking over someone else's body.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's actually more like Medusa from Soul Eater, but...
Could that be a Horcrux kind of situation?
No, it's not a Horcrux.
Like I said, it's more like Medusa from Soul Eater. Where she
like
died and turned into a snake and then entered that lolly girl. And
I'm just trying to think. Okay,
then we had Lolly Medusa. That was a weird arc.
Yes, we all know.
What? You know what? I'm just trying not to think about that.
I was talking about like more in the context of like Harry Potter. Like, what would it be like? Because this is a Harry Potter crossover. We gotta have some kind of sense.
No, we don't.
My lungs continue to tell me. But no, there's no fusion going on here. Also, she has a semblance which generates roses petals. Anyway, and blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Ty is marrying Raven. Blah blah blah. You still love him though. Yes, I still love him, but it's for my sister. You're such a good friend, Summer. Blah blah blah. Yang's asleep. Thank you, Summer. I don't know what to do without you. Probably you go insane. Ty, I'm sorry about you and Raven. I wish I could tell you why she left you. I can't though. It's not your fault. I feel like it is. Generic dialogue, really. Nothing special here. Blah
Generic,
blah blah.
generic.
Generic, comma, generic.
Generic. Summer loves you. What? Summer loves you. That's not funny, Crow. It's not a joke. Summer loves you. She's
What?
really
I can't hear
guilty
you.
about
If
it.
you,
Huh?
Huh?
Did that
just fuck this.
Yes, basically. I love Summer. Not romantically, mind you. She is basically like a sister, more than Raven was. She should be happy. You should fuck her.
No, you shouldn't.
No, this is a bad plan.
Summer smiled, holding Ruby in her hands.
Wait, what? Hold up. What?
We're doing a massive time skip of...
Yo, just a side note, I don't care about any of this. I got baseball Zenyatta, so everything's good.
Anyway, so,
Are you
yeah,
leaving the
so...
stream now?
No.
Post fuck, Summer's got Ruby in her hands now. And, blah blah blah, generic dialogue. Yang, is here and being introduced to the kid with more generic dialogue. Ruby gets named, blah blah blah, generic dialogue. It had been 5 years since Ruby's birth, and Summer and Crow found themselves fighting off a horde of Grimm. And blah blah blah, they're fighting. And blah 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 blah. And suddenly the ground collapsed underneath Summer, sending her arcing off the cliff. And Crow looked on in horror, knowing he couldn't save her.
Really? You're just gonna be like, ground collapses? What? Come on.
And then Summer smiled at him, knowing there was nothing that could be done to save her.
Okay. I
He
know we
can
don't...
turn into a bird!
Okay,
I mean,
hold on a second. I just want to talk...
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to talk combat real quick, because, like, nobody writes good combat, apparently. If anyone actually, like, wants to see good writing for combat, read Robert E. Howard's books,
Yes.
especially the Conan series.
Uh,
That's...
He does great stuff. Also, 40K, at least for the Horus Heresy stuff, isn't terrible. I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying it isn't terrible.
I was about to say something, and I'm a 40K mother... Jesus. Like, let's be real, 40K is not the best written stuff recently.
No. I'm not claiming it is, but I'm saying most of the time the combat's fairly decently written.
Like, all things considered, there is a reason why Miles and Carrie don't focus too much on the combat. That's because combat's hard to write, it's hard to animate, it's
Well, I mean,
difficult in
look,
general.
all I'm going to say is, back in the days when everybody thought Ruby's combat was great, and they thought Red versus Blue's combat was great, this is a little quote, I think it's coming straight from Bernie, but there would be portions in the script that literally just said, Monty does an action scene. That would be it.
Yeah.
That would be all the direction they wanted to get. Because it's like, look, no matter what I say, it's going to be worse than whatever Monty just shits out.
Yeah, basically. Alas. Anyway, so Crow is getting drunk and he's looking at a picture of Summer. It was all his fault that Summer died because...
I'm sorry, did you collapse the cliff?
No,
If not, shut the fuck
his
up.
semblance did, because bad luck.
Woo.
As she
That's
fell
not-
from... So we're going into a time skip into the future. Now we're going into a time skip into the past of Summer's point of view of her falling off the cliff.
Why
Blah, blah,
not just
blah.
do that originally?
Because we need to build up narrative drama. Duh.
No.
Ah, shit, I
No.
can't see again. Okay. Alright, there we go. As they fell off the cliff, Summer researched she was dead, and her aura was depleted, and her odds of surviving were slim. But she didn't scream, she couldn't feel fear. She just cried that she would leave her daughters behind and that Ty would lose another life, and she cried that Crow would blame himself, and she cried she could do nothing about any of this. But through all her crying, she could never tell about the fire surrounding her, the sudden but not fatal fall to the floor covered in stone, rather than the hard, lethal impact of the river below the cliff. She did notice, however, opening her eyes, sore and exhausted from the fight with the Grim and her spent aura. Summer stood up. To be met with a silent call, reminding her in setup of the cafeteria at Beacon, filled with children.
That's not how it works.
Harriet? Summer turned towards the voice that spoke, to the face of the man who had spoken. He was an elderly man with long white hair along with an equally long beard. He wore what appeared to be half-moon spectacles upon a crooked nose in front of his blue eyes, and was standing next to a goblet that was set on a pedestal of some sort. Behind him sat a fifth table, shorter than the other four, filled with adults. Summer went to grip her spear, Silver Thorn, only to realize she lost it when she fell. With this realization, her hand drifted to the handle of the knife she kept on her belt as a backup weapon and a utility tool when she was out in the field. Summer, she corrected,
Would that
realizing...
even work against Grim?
I mean, in theory, well, here's the thing, right? The problem with the Grim is it, like, we've seen normal guns hurt them. It's not about him having a magic weapon. It's about being physically strong enough to hurt them and not get murdered when they slap you.
Yes, that basically. Because unauraed robots with non-auraed guns shooting non-dust bullets are able to kill Grim. It's just...
slowly, but they do it.
It's just they also die in droves. Anyway. Authors note that the Schnee family is proof that semblances can pass in families. For the purpose of this story, I decided Summer's semblance will be like that, and thus she has the same semblance as her daughter Ruby.
Alright, let's clear one thing up, author. There is, so far, in all of Ruby, one semblance that goes through families. One. The Schnees.
I mean, we don't know if, well, I guess we don't know yet. It's still kind of up in the air about what Ruby's semblance is.
No, we know exactly what her semblance is. It's turning into flower petals.
I mean, not that semblance.
Oh, the silver eyes thing?
Yeah.
That's not a semblance. That's her Claymore heritage.
Oh, don't even start.
Come on! It's too good! Why is there no crossovers of that? Also, the other really disappointing thing, there is no Witcher Claymore crosses either. And that is, I do not know how to describe to you, immensely disappointing. Because they're practically made for a crossover with each other. Last note for the prologue, I intended to have Summer return to Remnant, but if you haven't already figured it out, time passes differently. I actually did the math, so I know when Summer will return to Remnant, but she'll be gone longer than she spends in the HP world. So, like, do we want to, like, read Chapter 2 at a different time?
Can we never read Chapter 2?
Because I
Like,
kind of...
Oh shit, Optic's playing Secret.
I kind of want to see, like, where this goes in terms of the shit fest. So, I'm gonna...
Okay, you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Cue up the second one.
Alright, so let's move on then. No Harry Potter, no Ruby. Raising demons. Sister overload. Let's go with Sister Overload. A Sword Art Online fic. Yeah, I don't know where they were going with this either. So don't at me. You ready?
I mean, the answer is no, but sure, let's go.
Alright then, kids, buckle up and sit down because it's about to get ugly. Family is supposed to be close. Family is supposed to love each other. Kazuto just wished that his sisters, plural, wouldn't be so blatant about how much they loved him. Kirito times Lifa times Yuki times Ran. Now, I believe Yuki and Ran are either characters from the Cancer arc, from the Alice arc, or from the games. If Max was here, you could probably tell us that, but Max isn't here. Sneaky, are you free after this to help me finish off the Worm Cross? Yeah, sure. Alright, let's get into it. It was shaping up to be a nice afternoon. I'd spent the morning finishing up my summer homework, so the rest of the day was dedicated towards relaxing and doing nothing important. I'd even managed to get that one drop that was being a total pain earlier, too. Argo was going to be totally furious when he found out I got it first without his help. Yep, this was a nice day, and nothing was going to disturb my nap on the couch until dinner was a heavy weight decided to land square on my center. Oof! I grunted, the wind rushing out of me, and cracked an eye open to glare at my sister as she mounted me.
Author, I understand that was no. Author, I understand that was an intentional word choice. No. Just no.
Big bro, it's time to get up. Yuki, what are you doing? No, Aiko, what is Yuki doing? I asked, tilting my head until I was looking at her upside down. Aiko looked up from the manga she was reading on her tablet. I think it's the mounted wake-up call, she said before shrugging and going back to her reading. I wasn't even asleep, I pointed out in a deadpan, and it's 5 in the afternoon. Should you be telling me that? The elder twin lifted one leg from the armrest and lifted it up to drape over the backrest, her head getting closer to the other armrest. She never listens to me, I pointed out. I am right here, Yuki complained. I'm actually going to look this up so we all know who we're talking about.
You know, I just stopped caring about sword art so long ago.
Sam.
Okay, let's see. Kono Yuki. Wait. Who? In the Mother Rosario side story. And a protagonist in the Sister's Prayer side story in the games. Okay, so she's Cancer Girl 1 and the other one's Cancer Girl 2, who are for some reason not with cancer and also adopted into Kirito's house. I'm confused.
Secret 1 Game 1, by the way.
I'm not surprised by that. The problem was the end result. Yes, Yuki complained, rocking back and forth, and what I assumed was annoyance. The problem was the end result was that anyone looking in from the outside saw something definitely improper. She was dry humping you. Yuki, I squawked, squirming under until I managed to get out from under her. She's on your fucking chest. How exactly did you manage that? Have you ever had someone on your chest before? It's really hard to get people off your chest.
I have people physically sitting on my chest, and it takes quite a bit of effort to get them off of you.
And it's not a squirming out from under them sort of thing. It's a pop, in which they're no longer on you, and you're probably, like, not in the location you were previously. Anyway. Until I somehow ending up on the floor without knocking Yuki off the couch. I don't think this author's ever been.
No, the author, that's not how physics works. In order to get someone off your chest, you have to physically push them off.
Yeah, it's not easy. She pouted. What is it now? You shouldn't do that, I said. Oh, masterful dialogue. Her pout.
That was an interesting sound to hear.
Her pout, and on her face, it was definitely deserved, the capital letter, intensified. Why? Why not?
Because life is suffering.
Because it's sometimes really something siblings shouldn't be doing together, Aiko said when I struggled for words. It's usually more of a lover's thing. She wriggled around so she was lying stomach down halfway over the armrest with her legs swinging freely in the air.
This person needs to needs to just shut up and read.
Also, that's not physically possible if she's stomach down on the armrest reading, and her legs are in the air, then she's face first in the ground. Or she's balancing on the armrest with her ab muscles.
No, she could just she could just be kicking her feet back and forth in the air.
Her legs swinging freely in the air.
Okay,
Y'all cut out.
No, we didn't cut out. It's just... We're sitting here trying to imagine the position she's in, stomach down, on the armrest, hanging halfway off with her legs hanging freely in the air. Trying to imagine how exactly someone goes about that, besides through sheer flexing, I suppose.
Flexing on them.
Flex on the haters.
Yes.
Yeah, take an opponent to ground, yeah. Oh, it's fine then, Yuki said, then glared at me, as close as she could get to a glare anyway, since on her face it looked like an angry puppy. Since he already said we aren't his real sisters, I winced. I didn't. Yes, you did. I looked up from where I ended up against the arm of Akiko's couch at Sugu, who is leaning over Yuki's couch and glaring at me twice as hard as her younger sister. Mean it like that, I finished. Well, it doesn't matter, because we aren't real siblings and I can marry you, she added brightly.
Alright, I'm fucking back. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So the other thing I was going to say was clearly this author has, never known any females, because if they have the option to do, females will almost never lie face down. Do you know why? Because it's really uncomfortable.
How would you know?
Boobs. Because I've spent a lot of time around girls. And I spent a lot of time around Amber. So...
That's true.
But here's the thing. Even if you've never spent any time around girls, it should be pretty easy to figure out. Because they kind of have, boobs. Kind of, always there.
By the power of... I'll stop. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I appreciate your endeavor to make my stream get shut down.
You're welcome.
Wait, how are we getting your stream shut down?
I'm fairly certain you could talk about boobs on the stream.
In the interest of equality. Testicles.
Shut up.
In the interest of equality, you're just going to scream testicles.
Yes. So they can't say we're sexist.
I mean, look, I will say that influences the way a guy sits.
Yes.
Big time.
Yes.
You ever see a guy squirming around in a chair? It's not because he's bored. It's because he's trying not to crush his balls.
It's because his balls are
I mean,
getting
it also might
crushed.
be because he's bored.
Yes. That's But anyway.
I mean, it's possible, but there's a much more likely explanation.
Anyway, so back to it. Blah 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 blah. I looked at her. Help me, please. No, you brought this on yourself, big brother. Oh, that's right. Well, Kazuto, you can always fulfill your childhood promise to marry me too, or we're only cousins after all. Yeah, that's right,
yes.
Kirito. You should go marry your cousin.
The time-honored tradition of
Hey, come on. Be fair. The Egyptians did it too.
And
I mean, most
pretty
royal
much all of
families
Europe.
did it. Yes.
Europe did it, Rome did it, Egypt did it, China definitely did it.
And look how that turned out.
I mean, technically speaking, their kingdom, like their actual kingdom, lasted longer than anybody else's as far as functional monarchies go.
China functional monarchies. What?
Yeah. You might want to rescind your statement on that one.
No. Look, I'm just saying, as far as monarchies with actual free reign, theirs lasted the longest.
Do you know how many times the monarchy of China changed hands?
That doesn't change the fact that a monarchy remained in power. I didn't say a specific family, I said a monarchy.
Not stable, like at all.
Well, no, a monarchy. No, a monarchy remained in power every single time because the person would come in, kill everyone, and say, "I was ordained by God to be your king."
Yes, I'm aware of that, Sneaky, but I'm saying China had the longest functional monarchy that
Yes.
could do whatever it pleased.
As Kilm said, China's whole again, and it broke again, and China's whole again, and it broke again, and China's whole again, and it broke again.
Yes, I'm
And
aware.
here comes the hunt.
And
No,
here
please,
comes
that was
the
like
Huns.
3 breaks ago. That was one of the times when China was whole, because the Huns controlled all of it.
Anyway, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, marry me, blah 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 blah. I remember making a promise like that. I'm a definitely good fan of good relationships, no matter what kind of relationship they are. And how about you give Kazuto some space before he overdoses on estrogen? I'm saved. Thanks, Mom. And dinner's
I'm
ready.
feeling a lot of weeaboo in these stories.
There's a lot of Japanese
Oh.
going on here.
Oh, yeah.
A smirking Sugu and Aiko? Honestly.
I'm sorry, hold on a second. I need to... Sneaky, we're going to take a break from
Mhm.
the massive weeb here.
Yeah?
I need to complain about PPD's draft.
No. You can do that
Piranha,
afterwards.
Ursa, Chen, Bait,
No,
Husker.
look, we're not doing that now because I've seen it as well.
Fine, we'll complain after. We will complain in 50 minutes.
Yes.
Continue.
When it doesn't matter anymore and they've already lost. Like I was saying, I didn't mean it that way. I was surprised because, well, I never thought you couldn't be. I never imagined you as anything other than my sisters. I imagined Bro as my lover a couple times, Yuki said cheerfully. A piece of fish went down the wrong pipe as her words registered. I coughed
That
a few
is
times.
not something you should ever
They're
say.
also all like 13. I just want to point that out right now.
I
Like,
mean, when you're 13, weird
No,
ideas start.
like, look, here's the thing, right? At least with, like, Fire Emblem Fates, the people involved in that were all at least ostensibly of age.
it came of age. Like, that's what the sort of weird part about Kirito and Asuna marrying was, is that they're both like 14, 15-ish.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yuki, that's, or tried anyway, completely alright since we're not related, Aiko said with a shrug, studiously not looking at me. Don't tell me I stared at her. Okay, I won't. That was completely ruined by the wide Cesare cat-like smile on her face. I looked at Sugu. She looked away, blushing fiercely. I let out a sigh, trying to ignore how hot my ears felt. Sisters. Right, yeah. Sisters! They just all imagined fucking me in their dreams. And marrying me, maybe. Sisters. Say it, Cletus! Oh, Cletus. Are you all dead, or are you just in abject shock and horror?
I just have nothing to say to this idiocy.
Yeah.
Same.
I want to add sins to this, but I just don't even know how much that qualifies for a sin. It's just a lot of sin.
Can you just put the infinity sign in?
I actually can't. We tried that last time. It doesn't work. It doesn't like me doing that. I can probably edit the file though. Hold on. Give me a second. Yeah, how about, yes. And save. There we go. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that'll do.
Sin count, yes. +1. Blah 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 blah. Aiko comes into the room. Blah blah blah. You know we don't have a grudge. I figured. Still shouldn't have said it. I'm glad you know that. All of us love you. We just have a strange way of showing it. If anything, you're worse than they are. Aiko never started anything, but she always made everything worse. Don't say that. You'll hurt my feelings. Out. You're just trying to mess with me. She giggled and kissed me on the cheek. Have fun, Kazuto. Sisters, I complained. Look, I have 3 sisters. None of them have ever giggled and kissed me on the cheek. Now, admittedly, that might have something to do with my family life, but I've never seen them giggle at anyone and kiss them on the cheek, besides maybe their boyfriend. Just throwing that out there.
Look, I'm pretty sure that's just something that only happens in movies.
Yeah.
And poorly written fan fiction.
That's so. The fantasies of a fangirl, I suppose. I complained to Argo that evening while we were raiding a raid boss. One would be bad enough.
While we was raiding a raid boss.
One would be bad enough, but why do I have to be saddled with 3 sisters? They won't leave me alone. Why do you say that? I rolled my eyes. Every day it's something different. I mean, yesterday, she humped me. And today, she humped me again. And the day before that, they waited for me to leave the bathroom so she could look at me. The day before that, I swear Sugu waited for me to walk by the bathroom so she could exit it in her towel. Greetings, Isley! You're alive! Good to see you. The esteemed archivist has returned indeed. What did you miss? You missed, an author complaining about people giving them bad reviews when they came up with poor story ideas and executed them poorly. And this author has a sister fetish, and so he gave Kirito of Sword Art Online 3 sisters who all want to fuck him.
Well, no, 2. He technically already had one.
Yes, that is true enough. You were moving. Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess. For us. But congratulations. Good to see you.
Congratulations on moving a little bit on this sinful carbon-based Earth.
Indeed. Blah 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 blah. Argo was laughing at him. I know you have a sister, I said to Argo. Does she do stuff like that? Also, boss is gonna spam fire. Brayofash. My sister does some of the stuff you're talking about. Not exactly like you're describing. Less like she's trying to seduce me and more like she just doesn't care I'm around. When did Argo suddenly gain like this hard southern accent?
Look, you're the one reading it.
No! That's how it's written! Apostrophe, sis does
What? Oh
some
my gosh.
apostrophe F the stuff.
He's
You're
not
talking
wrong.
apostrophe bout. Not apostrophe
No, I
exactly.
see it. I
like
see
you're describing apostrophe. I'm not even making up the accent this
You're
time.
not. No, you're not. Which infuriates me.
Like, when did he suddenly become hard south?
I mean, already his sisters want to fuck him, so that's why.
No, I'm talking about Argo, not Kirito. Argo is not fucked.
Maybe he wants to.
No.
Should be done with the breasts in 5 minutes, so get ready for some DPS, Argo told me. And it sounds like to me your sisters are trying to get you to see some women. Don't say things like that, they're my sisters. Of course they are, Argo drawled, and I grumbled under my breath. Didn't you tell me they were adopted or something? You're not helping at all, Argo. Later, after we beat the boss and dissolved the pickup party, I leaned back in my chair. You said you got into the Sal Beta, right? Yeah, just like you. Gonna be wild, yeah? Can't wait. You're gonna be cool without your sisters? I mean, you're always talking about how you spend a lot of time with them, right? Yeah, I'll be fine. The twins said they're gonna get a part-time job, and my other sister said she's gonna be busy too. Not sure why Yuki and Ayuko want a part-time job suddenly, but Sugu had another kendo tournament during the months of the Sal Beta. Well, I'll be seeing you in the beta then, Kay. Later, Kirito. Who's Argo again? The really large black guy. Hello, Kazuto, the woman said with smile. My name is Midoriya Kirigaya.
No, Sneaky, you're wrong. That's Egel. Argo is the information-dealing cat person.
Why the fuck does she have a southern accent?
I don't know.
We
I was
just
like, I
don't
think
know
he's
anymore.
wrong. So I went and I Googled it. Yeah, no. Egel. You're thinking of Egel.
Why does the rat girl have a southern accent?
But not even just not even a southern accent. A hard male southern accent. Because that's not written as a southern belle. That is a hard southern drawl.
Yeah, that is. Also, Kirito, hey, girl, do you have sister? Yes, I have sister. Does your sister ever hump you or try to make you sexually attracted to them? No. Sometimes. What kind of... See, that's why I originally thought it was Egel. Because I was like, okay, you're asking another guy what his sister does. That's fair. But now it's like, hey, person of the opposite sex, do you too also have sister that tries to sexually attract to you? What? Author. What? Awesome Southern Argo. What?
I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm half surprised Southern Eagles never happened. I'm sorry, what Isley, you're gonna have to elaborate on that.
We need elaboration here. for
Like, listen,
activists.
get in the Discord. You're coming on the show.
For activists'
Sneaky's
sake.
No, Isley,
He's dead. I'm
Isley,
forgetting
that does not clear things up in the slightest.
Are you fucking them or were you fucking with them? Because that is
it. I don't think that's an answer we can get on this show.
That's fair.
Isley, just give us the answer in the Discord.
Okay, alright, so... so the author is waving away the other two being adopted by them. By them bonding at the orphanage he was located at in the span of, like, the, 2 weeks between his parents' death
First
and
of
him
all,
being
I'd like to
adopted?
say I am so glad that if you type SW into YouTube, one of the first thing that pops up is Sword Art Online Abridged,
Yes.
because that's where it deserves to be. In fact, it should be above the actual Sword Art Online.
There, Leslie. There. You do you. Well, that's okay.
How? Why would you do that to your own zip? Like, the things I would have to do to make my brother uncomfortable? No, I personally wouldn't be willing to do those. Like, think about it, Sneaky.
Oh, I am perfectly aware of what exactly you would need to do to make him uncomfortable, and I am uncomfortable just thinking about those things.
Yeah. It's just a whole lot of nope.
Okay, now that I have some alcohol in my system, let's continue.
Oh boy. See, you've gone, Isley.
Look, we all knew I was going to need it eventually.
No, Isley, we ain't getting into this.
We're not getting into that. Yeah, it's very guy-specific things, so we're not going to talk about that.
You're still not sure which is which. Okay, Max has the southern accent.
No, Max does
Max
not.
actually does not possess a southern accent.
I have more of a southern accent than Max. Which is really, really sad. Anyway.
By guy specific.
No,
We're not
No.
talking about this, Nose.
No.
No.
You want to talk about it? You can come to the Discord. I ain't putting that in Twitch chat.
Nope.
Yeah. No, I ain't.
Did you just realize what we were talking about?
I wasn't paying attention to the chat all that much.
Okay, good.
Probably for the best.
Anyway, moving on. Sugu's in his room. He asks her to leave the room. She leaves the room. He puts on clothes. Aiko was an early bloomer. They're all early bloomers. They're also all wearing really, really sheer negligee.
Of course.
Blah, 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 blah. And look at that! They've all bought Sword Art Online to join him! And blah, blah, blah. We're all gonna play together. I'm sleeping with Big Bro first, Yuki cheered. I choked on air. What? Huh? When we use the nerve gears, it's like sleeping. So I want to sleep on your bed next to you. I called it first. Aiko looked away and muttered something while Sugu frowned. Oh, did you think I meant something different? Not at all, I said flatly. She giggled. After what she said during dinner yesterday, was it a surprise I jumped to that conclusion? Especially with the misleading way she said that. Ugh. My suffering is eternal. I spent...
Yes.
Isley's just like, nope, got nothing. And it's gonna stay that way, Isley.
Yep. Bob, I watched people buy Sal on a live stream. That is the largest waste of time I have ever conceived. You would be more productive watching paint dry. You would be more productive watching grass grow. You would be more productive in an ice cube melting competition. Get the idea yet? I hope you all do. There's only 10 minutes before the launch. He let them know. Wait for me at the fountain. Let's go. Link start. Hello world, I'm back. Blah blah blah. We all found each other. They're all using their in-game avatars. I will not think about my sister's breasts. I will not think about my sister's breasts. She made her breasts real big. It's called people watching.
Look, I just got nothing anymore.
No. It's me. Everything go okay?
Isley, it is not called people watching.
Do we look cute? Yes, you look very cute. Hit accept. Leafa was Sugu, Ran was Aiko, and Yuki was Yuki. You're not supposed to use your first name when you're using your name for your avatar. Teehee, my bad. Not like you can change it now. Alright, let's go.
Teehee, my bad.
She was staring at me intently. I have shifted under her scrutiny. I don't like it, she said finally. I like your real face more. What's wrong with my avatar? It's not what we fantasize about at night. You know what? I think I'm done here.
We're done for the night then?
I think I've hit my peak for that one.
Okay, then
I'm just fucking dumb. Time to trigger Atin. Story not found. Deleted by the author.
Oh. Ha! I'm safe. What was it going to be?
Star Wars Mass Effect Cross, where Shepard becomes a rogue Jedi.
Yep, that'd have done it.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about an Undertale cross?
I don't care.
Fair. Harry Potter Avengers cross. Oh, here we go. Madoka meets the giant spiders. Lilo and Stitch, Magi Madoka Magica crossover.
Why? Why though?
I can't say I've thought about my brother that way. I don't have a sister for comparison. As common Sneaky not liking a little sister on brother stuff, you are kind of Sojum after all.
Wait, I don't understand. I don't understand either of the things Isley said here.
Yeah,
You're gonna need to repeat that.
I'm gonna need some
English,
clarification.
Can we get that in English?
Okay,
Oh, you're
Southern,
talking-
but that still doesn't clear up any of what you meant.
I think they're talking about incest.
Okay, look, it's really not common at all in the South. Like,
In Jersey.
Alabama, it's common.
No, okay, let's be clear. Alabama and the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay, look, even the Appalachian Mountains doesn't have this problem.
No, deep in the Appalachians.
Okay, yes,
it is.
deep in the Appalachians, yes.
That's why no one goes there.
There's also cannibals in the deep Appalachian Mountains, but we don't talk about
Okay,
that.
no, that is a rumor that has never been proven.
Neither is the Jersey Devil, but that's still proof. And true.
I don't know what the Jersey Devil is, so...
After a thrilling biology lesson, Madoka and gang go to Hawaii, where they meet someone who changed their life forever. Please rate and review. Don't like, don't read. Haha, just kidding. Please just don't read this.
Okay, here's my... Okay, right before we start this.
Oh,
pretty sure
hi-yo,
that this
Reader-chan! XD!
Hold on a second.
This is my fanfiction. Nay? Read it out loud?
Eject.
Daijobu?
Eject.
Abort! 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 Abort immediately.
That wasn't
Hand of
even
God.
close
Hand
to
of
proper
God, Chen.
Japanese.
I'm dooming this fanfiction.
Unfortunately, you can't do Sneaky.
In
do
Hawaii, there are giant spitters. Like really giant spitters. Spitters the size of your fist. Try not to think about it. Anyway, Lilo and Statch live in Hawaii, where there are giant bugs.
Can you stop saying it like that? Please pronounce it correctly.
Hawaii? But that's how they're spelling it. It's Hawaii.
I understand that.
Your punishment must be more severe. The Shota says hello? Yes, I'm aware that's a...
Who is that?
It's, the male version of Lalia.
Right, but this seems to be referencing a specific person Isley does anyway.
Ah, yes, well, I don't know. Have I mentioned centipedes? Yeah, there's centipedes too. Giant ones. Giant poisonous ones. One day, Madoka Kaname was in biology class at her school, which I forgot name of because I saw that anime like 2 years ago. She was studying with her friends Sayaka and Homura and Mami. It's miracle I just remembered their names. I've spent 2 years calling them Yellow Madoka and Purple Madoka. I mean, they kind of are.
I mean, one's just a really thirsty lesbian.
Oh,
and the
Isley's
other one's-
referring to her brother.
Oh, your brother says hello.
Please
I'm
don't
not sure
call
why
it-
you call your brother that,
Please.
but okay.
Hello,
Please don't
Shota.
call your brother a Shota.
I dub your brother Shota Isley.
Oh God.
Look, I'm sure there's a hentai of that Sneaky, but that's not what we're here for.
Probably. And I am here to teach you about bugs, said teacher. And she did. They learned so much about bugs. I'm getting itchy thinking about all the bug knowledge. After class, they were walking in hallway chatting about all their mad knowledge. So bugs, right? Said Sayaka. Bugs are cool. There was general agreement. Even Homura.
Bugs are cool, said the United States departments of everywhere. Actually, I'm pretty sure every government department has listened to us at this point, Sneaky.
Indeed.
Not us specifically, but the U.S. populace.
Yep.
Even Homura took a break from being stony-faced and cool to nod her head slightly. You know where they have giant freaking bugs? Hawaii. Hawaii has really giant poisonous bugs. I think we should go. And so they did. They just happened to find cheap flight to Hawaii, leaving that very same night. The magic of fanfiction, I suppose. Also, all of their parents were okay with it, except for Homura, who inexplicably has no parents. They boarded the flight with full luggage, unconcerned about missing a week of school around exam time. So magical. I mean, to be fair, they are making completely justified rips on the magical Madoka anime.
Oh, they are.
I'm somehow not surprised you found both of those, Aisling, but you do you.
Isley, that was not a suggestion that you go looking for, though.
They
Do
touched
not.
down in Hawaii after a boring plane fight I don't feel like
no, Vicky.
describing.
She already did, and she found them, which means she at least looked at the cover, possibly even read a few pages into them.
They claimed their baggage and stepped outside into World of Hawaii. I can't really describe Hawaii yet very well because I've never actually been there. I do know they have giant bugs, though. Have I mentioned that? They also have a shit ton of frogs, okay?
They really do.
Like,
And
we
let's
were
not
dri-
forget.
look,
Let's
I
not
was
forget
driving
Gecko's
through there,
either.
right? So I was driving through there one time, right? The person in the car with me goes, I know New Jersey has deer, but what does Hawaii have? Because, you know, it's justified to assume there aren't many deer on the Hawaiian Islands. And as they say that, literally, we turn the corner to the road just covered in frogs. Like, there was no road left. It was just frogs. And so we might have killed over 100 frogs.
Wait, does that mean that French people lived in Hawaii at some point?
No.
It's just really convenient or something. Maybe they were toads. Fucking hell, I don't know, man. All I know is that they were the hippity-hoppity, flippity-floppity amphibians. And they got hit by my car by the fucking truckload. There was a lot of dead frogs. It was just like, you know when you hit a road bump and your car goes dum. Like, imagine that times like 50 for like a solid minute straight. And that's what it felt like driving over a road full of frogs. And now you know.
Right, then.
This wasn't supposed to happen. It's a breach in the timeline, said Homura, squinting into the sun. Ha ha ha. Oh, Homura, my good friend Homura, you say the craziest things, friendo, said Madoka, laughing anime-like. Make a contract with me and become a magical girl, said the Kyubi, who was also there, in Hawaii. He was on the beach, which is also at the airport. I can make it this way, because I've never been to Hawaii. Anyway, Kyubi was there at the beach. Little flowered shirt, sunglasses, and even one of those drinks with tiny umbrellas in it. Homura picked him up and threw him into the sea. Madoka gasped. That was cruel. Homura nodded. He'll be back.
For some reason, while
Okay,
that
so
happened,
I'm starting.
I just imagine like one of those fork coma things, or is just
A,
like, really...
yes. B, I'm still reading what Isley's saying. Isley has continued to read these.
Yes.
Isley, stop.
Make a contract with me and become a magical girl.
Or at least send them to Ricky so he can read them too.
Fuck
He
off.
was back. I felt
is
this
indeed
deep,
what you want.
tugging feeling in my heart, said Sayaka, looking whimsically into the distance. Almost like we need to meet someone named Lilo and someone named Stitch. I feel like that would advance the plot significantly, said Mayumi. She was here too. She just hadn't spoken for some reason. Homura threw Kyubi back into the sea, and they took off running down the beach, except they were all still in their school clothes, and they all got sand in their shoes, and it was literally the worst feeling ever. Except for maybe, say, getting your head chopped off. Mammy sneezed. They were somehow drawn to this house on the edge of the rainforest. It was a cool rainforest, but it was probably also full of giant bugs! Like scorpions! Do you know what happens if you're stung by a giant scorpion? Death. Death is what happens. Actually, it's the opposite. The larger the scorpion is, the less deadly it is to you, the person. Why that is, I couldn't tell you because I am not an etymologist. However, I do know that fair fact. The smaller the scorpion is, Don't get stung by that motherfucker, because you're dead. I'm just going to ignore Isley. I'm going to go back to it. I'm thankful that Isley is here again, but I'm just going to go back to ignoring Isley.
Isley, we need to have a chat.
Actually, we need to have less chats. That's what we need to do.
You know what? Good point.
Homura is getting really antsy, trying to protect Madoka, not just from Kyuubi, but also death from giant friggin' scorpion. I think we should end that out, she said. It seems sheltered from both bugs and evil incubator hellspawn. You can't just walk into someone's house, said Madoka in an anime tone. We should knock on their door, said Sayaka, who, now that she was in Hawaii, realized that maybe bugs weren't all that cool, and maybe they were actually the worst. I agree, said Mammy. The four walked up to the door, past 50 giant spiders, and then knocked. A little girl answered. She was Lilo. I don't want to describe her. Google it if you don't really know. Then go watch the movie. It was a good movie. Rotten Tomatoes says edgier than traditional Disney fare. Lilo and Stitch explores issues of family while providing a fun and charming story. If you need some good critical endorsement. Hello, Lilo said. Hello, Madoka said. We just arrived here by plane, and we noticed you have a house that probably doesn't have giant spiders in it. They're everywhere, whispered Lilo. Everywhere. Oh, well, sorry to bother you then. You can still come inside if you'd like. Lilo, who apparently never been taught stranger danger by this story. That would be lovely, said Mammy, who was also never taught to not inflict stranger danger on tiny children. God dang it, Mamie. Get your head in the game. They walked to their house with automatically less spiders than outside. So, why do you all look like anime? Asked Lilo as they walked. Why do you look Disney? Asked Sayaka. Point taken.
Why do they keep talking?
Because somehow, in this 1,000-word story, the author has managed to have a more coherent plot progress than most of the stories we read in this fucking podcast.
Yes.
They sat down together in Lilo's living room. It was kind of awkward, to be honest. Why had she even invited him in the first place? Suddenly, a little blue monster crawled in on the ceiling. It was Stitch. Again, Google it if you are some sort of Disney recluse. This is Stitch, said Lilo, smiling and pointing at him. He dropped down to the floor with an impressive 180. Nice one, Stitch. You were the man. He lifted 3 tiny blue paws and waved at them. Hi, he said in Stitch voice. If person reading this is not currently doing Stitch voice, they are not properly representing my artistic masterpiece. She sells by the seesaw. Tiny boat, toy boat, toy boat. Lilo clucked her tongue at him. Now you're just being cruel to our kind reader friend. Stitch looked ashamed of himself. Suddenly Kyuubi crawled in, also on the ceiling. He was commanding an army of about 12 giant spiders. Then they went home. My brother said he made me cookies if I posted this, so I am. I'm probably going to have to reset my fanfiction password, because I don't remember it anymore. My profile is also embarrassing. Everyone, please do not read this. And with that, I am slain, and you can all disappear now into the ether. But I will reconfigure Jigger myself. On Tuesday. But as our normal schedule isn't exactly going to cut it anymore, because I do have a rotating schedule of work now. I actually get off at 7 p.m. on Tuesday this time around. So expect the podcast to start at around 7:30ish. Instead of the normal 7 o'clock. But we will still do our 2 hours of time. So, don't worry too much about that part, except, if you're in Europe for some reason. Then I guess you do have to worry about the extra time.
You mean like a suspiciously large portion of our audience?
Yes, like a suspiciously large portion of our audience. I'm looking at you, audience. I know you can't see me, but I'm staring into your souls. But that's neither here nor
No,
there.
but seriously, why so much of our audience from Europe? It makes no sense.
I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is I will see you all next time, if you show up, of course. But I will see the ones who show up next time on Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9001, because I am Sneaky Devil. And remember, there's always more, and it always gets worse.